Everybody, my name's Maz Schirmer and I'm interviewing Pushtie today, who has really had a revolutionary breakthrough for herself, a transformation really in overall, in every area, mind, body, soul, spirit. And she's an amazing lady who's very multi-talented. And Pushtie, I will ask what you have been in the past and what you've done. Okay. Yes, Pushtie came to us a few years ago and she's had the transformations in different areas of her life as well, all crossing over, because that's the thing with women. When we have a change in one area of our life, it does affect everything. Do you want to share, Pushtie, first of all, who you are as a person, an individual? Who's Pushtie?
Wow, that's such an easy question to start with. Just confirming what I've done rather than who I am, because that's like an process of figuring out.
Yes.
So I've been an actor, I've been a tarot card reader, I've been a healer, I have been a writer, and I've been many other things that I've made. I'm a business owner. I used to make soaps and body products and stuff like that. I've done a lot of stuff, but all of it has mostly been geared towards women. That's one thing that's been a common thread through all the things that I've done.
Yes.
It's usually been geared towards women.
Yes. Why do you love working with women?
Starting with the fact that I feel that I was not taken care of the way I wanted to be taken care of. And there's this feeling that I wish people would just understand certain things about me. Like they understood about, like, my brother, maybe. It was easy to understand my brother, but it was so difficult to understand me. And I just wish they'd understand me. And after I started working and reading more and finally came here, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And I can see so many women benefit from it, because it's all about us women, isn't it? Everything is about us women. I don't know how people can think of it otherwise.
I know, because we really are influential energetically. We are a big, almost stamp of presence, more so than even if we're, let's say, oppressed, we're still a large energy force there that requires that oppression. If we would, it must be large to even warrant that, where that does occur. Okay. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. And when you said you wanted to be understood more, could you explain, what you are that you wanted to be understood, or what it was you wanted them to understand, or that they couldn't understand?
I feel quintessentially I'm a really simple person. I don't like complications. I'm just very there, and I can actually make decisions and I know where I want to go. But the fact is, everybody has, in my childhood, not anymore, but questioned me so much. Really, you want to do this? Really, you want to do that? You want to go here? There's been so many questions that it's been ingrained that I have to second guess myself. I have to question myself. It was so bad that I actually ran away from home and I said, I don't want this sound in my ear. I don't want it at all. So I ran away from home and I stayed away for a good 7 to 9 years without even knowing where I was.
Wow.
And I really discovered a lot of who I was in that running away. And I just really want other women to feel that way, because I started talking to other women when I was out of the house. And that is when I discovered that we're all going through the same thing.
Yeah. And it's cross culture. It's like there is a feminine energy, and I feel women don't know it so much that they feel so alone that they don't know what they're thinking is not their own, that other women are feeling the same. And I'd personally, something else that should happen, I think, is that more compassion for other women, from women too, that no matter what you think of them, they're human, exactly feeling just like you, and if we were vulnerable and honest, we are so much alike that we could almost sometimes just mesh and really form one. And that's what I hope the revolution here we're trying to do, like a new breed of leader, because that are women, lead hers, because you are a leader. And I think that's what you mean when you had to leave home, because you had your own ideas. You knew you were smart. You knew, but they were making you second guess what you knew.
Yeah.
And it felt like they made you wrong.
Oh, yeah. It was
They
all
made you wrong, and it was bad to be wrong when really you were just good and knew your own power and felt like they were restricting your soul, your spirit.
Yep. It was just always about having to conform to whatever happens, whatever feels right to people, whatever they've done with their life, which is not wrong for them, but it may not work for me because I'm
Yeah.
a completely different person.
That's right.
I'm saying that it was not right to really be someone who did not fit into a box and could not be fit into a box by anybody, by any kind of hope for them. They really did not like someone jumping out of the box and saying, okay, I'm going to go to something else. They couldn't take it. But
Yeah.
that's their story now. So,
It's the acceptance of difference, isn't it? Women and people, they fight to be the same and be community in that sense, but not respecting or allowing or accepting. Just people might be different and have, because I know people can want to protect you, and that tends to be what they think they're doing, but they don't, that allowance of self-expression.
it's very difficult for them to actually feel comfortable because they have been knitted into this comfort zone of, yes, this is the way women behave, this is the way women dress, this is the way women talk. And it's always easier for all of us to just gain and keep running with a negative feeling rather than a positive feeling. It's very difficult, I feel, to run with a positive feeling because there'll be questions. Because if you're not negative, you're not controllable. If there's fear, if there's any of that, anger, fear, hatred, jealousy, it's so easy to control the other person. If none of that is present, they don't know what to do with you. And half the time, they're still trying to figure that out. And they get very confused and very angry with themselves for not having control over that one girl who they wish they had, the one that got away. They feel very bad about it. And I've always been the one that got away, even when it came to my acting. I've always been the one that got away. Because after a point, I didn't want to act.
Yeah, can you tell us about this? Because I know we romanticize being an actress.
Yeah.
Like it's people just, we look at that, we go, how can she do that? That's an amazing talent. I know myself, I see it as a talent. I've had cameras put on me when I was in that documentary, and I'm over in LA, and there's a proper bloody film crew that films all sorts of movies and documentaries. And it's like this. How do you do that? Like those kids are here, and then they say now, and you're supposed to into embodying some other person in a whole different whatever, as if the cameras aren't there. I'm like, bright lights, and I like freeze a bloody, little deer in headlights. But it's crazy. It's amazing.
I guess I've been on stage since I was in like kindergarten.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I've been on stage and I've had eyes on me all the time. And I've had a very gradual shift from stage to professional stage to television to film and all of that. It's been one thing after another thing for me. So it was like the most natural thing for me to do. It was not like I'm thinking about, oh my God, shall I, shan't I? No, it's just the most natural thing for me to do. Because my brother is the performer, he's an actor.
Oh, okay.
And my mother was an actress in her time.
See, that's incredible. And it feels natural to you. Wow. Wow. So epigenetics a little bit there, maybe. Yeah. So epigenetics can be in a positive, it can be in a negative. Epigenetics, if you're watching, and don't know what we're talking about. It's just where the invisible parts of someone gets passed on down the family line. Okay. So there's different ways. We won't get into that today, but that's interesting because if it felt natural to you, it must somewhere in you was a familiarity that came through maybe. And natural, obviously there would be the nature nurture. So you would have seen it growing up, but at the same time, for it to be so natural, you got to wonder the imprint that it came through with, because it was the most unnatural thing for me to even just be just honest on the camera and think of and be in me. Like, oh my gosh.
The funniest part is that the only thing that was different about me and the mother and the brother was that I was a certain weight, certain body structure. And unfortunately, at least in the industry I am in, the Indian film industry, it put me in a zone at that time which said that if you're fat, you just have 3 emotions to work with. And it's really funny, but so many years ago, I kept telling them I feel like I'm cheating on my other emotions, literally, because I only can go and embody the 3 emotions on screen, which is angry, hungry, and horny. Angry because everybody's saying you're fat.
Oh, I thought you were going to say funny as well.
No,
that's
funny
not
just
an emotion.
automatically happens. Funny
Yes,
just
funny's not an
automatically
emotion.
happens.
Yes, right.
Yeah, it just, so if you're angry, everybody's telling you're fat and that's why you're funny. They're laughing at you. You're angry about that. You're hungry because apparently you're fat. That means you need to be eating too much. There could be nothing else going on in there. And finally, you're horny because apparently because you're fat, all the men look down on you and nobody wants to, even spend 5 minutes with you. That's what the visual of the plus size woman was for a very long time in the part of the world that I am in. It was hilarious. And after that, I said, I don't want to do this. This doesn't feel right to me because I'm so much more than just this. I'm very creative. I'm very imaginative. I'm good at doing so many things. And you want to put me in this tiny little box so that you become happy about it. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. And I ran away.
Wow. It's like being seen for the shell, isn't it? Just not like the soul. Like, I find that very few people do this. And it was really taught to me, this one woman that I really, if you knew her story, she would just do this one thing. She would, whenever she went on stage and things, she would go through the back kitchen door and of the big hotels in the conference centers, and she would thank all this wait staff before they even come out. And what she was known for was looking pupil to pupil in your soul, grabbing their 2 hands and thanking them and asking if they're okay. And he's like, and then she'd be late for a performance because she would be talking to someone in the kitchen, some who started to cry, some who confessed things to her when she did this. And she would make everybody wait. She counseled this woman, and her name was Mary Pay Ash. And that was, she came from a poor background, and she understood every single person warrants attention. And she only saw the soul. She went into pupil to pupil. And I try to do that too, because I think what a great role model, because then you just don't get stuck on what everyone else is doing. And which is what makes everyone feel so lonely. But so, Kit, I think we should show people your before, because there's going to be a lot after that. What do you reckon?
Oh boy, I haven't seen it for a while.
No, so I don't know whether you've seen this. I'm not sure if you've seen this since you first had it. It's only one little clip, but I think it's enough to really show how far you've come. And
the feeling of it's not safe has always limited me because everything that I have done has been like me walking on eggshells. Or to make it even clearer, it's not eggshell, it's bare feet on broken glass. It's very pointed. You have to make sure you're breathing right. You have to make sure you're right. You're eating right. You're smiling right. Everything's got to be right. Because if it's not right, you are pulled down. You are at a complete disadvantage because people will definitely point fingers. it's more than anything else. I think what it has done is it has cost me my self-expression. And I think what has created the biggest discomfort with not being safe is even when you meet someone, be it a romantic relationship or just a friendship, you just become a washcloth. Because you will let them cough and cough and cough and then talk some more. And you will say, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. You're going to do that, but you're not going to say how you feel. If that person says, oh my God, life is that. You're also thinking, no, because I'm not sorry. But you're not going to have them say, no, sorry, I don't believe that. I believe life is fine. Because you're going to see, oh my God, if I say this, I'm going to lose the potential of making a friend here.
Wow. That lie.
I think I vaguely remember that girl. Vaguely. She sounds like an alter ego in the past.
It's a
But
shock.
yeah, oh man, that is not me. That
Yeah.
anymore.
It's a shock seeing ourselves before this method and all the downloads of life learning that you've got, that the wisdom that you came into realization of that no one had to teach you, that your soul needed. Yeah, so we got some says hello. Maria says hi, as well as Ellie and Mency, and Diane McKay says hello, and Carolina says, what a brave story, Pushtie. Thank you for sharing. Muncie says, gosh, this is so true. And she says, was that groundbreaking show that allowed people to see that there is more to the plus size women than stereotypes. Maria and Cherry are all agreeing. And Maria says, self-expression. Oh my gosh, yes. And I think that's a part of what your message really is, and then gosh, they resonate, which is bless and invites them to see if you're from it strongly today. So, darling, because I think the big message, if the right people see this, they will resonate with that, and you bring hope that they too do not have to stay there, because you could have stayed there. That's where you'd still be.
Yeah. That's true. I'm sorry, I'm tearing up just listening to my past. But it's true. When I was there was just no way I could get out of it. It was impossible. I was going to stay in that you are so and you've got to be so. And everyone who is so and so behaves like this, talks like this, walks like this, wears this, breathes like this, smiles like this. I thought I was going to remain in that box forever. But the minute we stepped into this, I was like, oh, hello. I don't even know what you mean.
No, is it crazy how you can have such a shift in perception? Oh, yeah, not just change of belief, but entire perceptions of self, of others, of the world, of life, of the future, all change at once. At your core.
Not just, sorry, you're saying.
No, just at your core at that depth.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not just within, because when it happens within, like you said, at the core, so strongly, your energy starts differing. Your energy becomes so different that people cannot recognize you. They don't like you anymore because they're like, oh, it's not comfortable around her anymore. I can't say this to her because you're going to get them say, excuse me. And suddenly when you say that, then they're like, whoa, did you question what I said? But yes, I did. Because you know what? You're literally, sorry, pardon my language, but you're vomiting crap. Literally. And I'm not taking that anymore from you. I don't want it. I know what I want and I will do exactly what I feel like. And suddenly when that happens, the right energy people start coming towards you because they can see you're not a pushover anymore. And they say, okay, now I can team up with this person who got a spine, who got her own ideas and is not afraid of expressing herself.
That's the big self-expression. And we've got a new reset coming exactly on that. And it is just going to make that difference for others to get all that way too, a bit quicker. But Pushtie, so you were like, that was the fight before, was this person couldn't express because you weren't allowed and you were made wrong and bad. And then that would have weakened your strength to stand in that route and then become what you were meant to become in whole self-expression. So your light, so your soul becoming healed and lighter, and then the light that comes with what I would call spirit. I don't know. You're the one who would know more than me on that. And as far as see, this is what people don't realize about empowered women. You, by merely self-expressing, set women free by you being you. And no two stars are the same, is what I say, because you, and that's not stars as in actor stars. It's every woman, every human being is a star with or got a life. That's the definition of life. There's no. So you just being me, darling, is the gift that you bring, and we all have that as our own gift to the world.
Yeah, and I can't wait to help women uncork that gift from within them, because it's there. They don't need to unlock it. It's there. It feels that is corked. Once that cork is undone, it's going to bubble right over.
Yeah.
And most women are ready to do that, except they have to remember that, yes, it's going to be a little scary. But once they get there, they're going to value everyone they can get. They're going to value themselves so much more for it. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes. Yes, because it's not their fault, everybody. Like, it's not their problem either that people, that they don't please all the people around them when they're being themselves only. And that's what that being guilty for that or shameful of that, that's the part that was wrong, isn't it? Can you share, darling, because you are a very passionate, multi-talented woman. So can you share what are your biggest passions? I know you've expressed a lot already and we can tell a lot, but what are you passionate about for the future for your impact?
I'm very passionate about helping as many women as I can, because I know that literally they make the world go around in the most obvious manner and the most subtle manner. Women's energy makes the world go around. And imagine having a world full of women who are sorted, who are not saying, oh my God, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Should I go here? Should I go there? But they say, I'm going there. How many people are coming with me? You don't want to come with me? Fine. I'm going there by myself because I know I need to get the end. But have a world of women who are like that, because then they'll all realize that actually deep inside, all we're going towards and we're creating for the world is more togetherness and more love. We don't need to be fighting. We don't need to be standing against each other or pitted against each other in any single way. We've been taught that as children. As women, we've been taught that you have to aim at getting that best guy and there's nothing else, and then having his children and having good family. Hello, hold on. I don't want to get married to that guy. I don't want to have his children. I don't want to stay in his family. I want to do my own thing. I want to go skinny dipping in the Nigeria Falls. I don't know. Like that. It's gonna go right. Yeah, leave me alone. Can you imagine, Mez, a world of women saying, I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. I will do it. I
do, because we share that. I have the same dream. I dream the little girl in every woman gets healed at the depth of any inherited oppression, suppression, repression of anything. And that, because one big message that I'm getting here is that you did this fairly young and you now have through staying limitless and having the tool, and every new glass ceiling, you just go in and get some more life learnings, which is all we ever need. We don't need to go into therapy. We just need to learn from everything. And that is all we need to do. And that's all this is. And that you are accountable to yourself, responsible, and know it. And you go and do for yourself what you know you've got to do for the greater good and long-term happiness and contentment and knowing of self and self-expression, and what's your next level going to be, and what's your next level going to be, and what's your next level going to be. And you don't have to know it. You just have to trust there's more for you with wisdom than without it. And because it sticks forever and actually raises your emotional intelligence, then it gives you, I think it's the biggest hope on the planet for women.
I think so. Yes, absolutely. Anybody telling a woman, you're okay, you do you, is so difficult for the woman to digest at this point. You do you it's like a threat because they don't know who you really is.
We've got to help them to find themselves first. We've got to heal the little girl heart. That's just, she's still the little girl in us. If we look into the back pupils, it's the same eyeball of the little girl when we were born, a baby and little. We didn't die and then become an adult, and to ignore her as if she's not really you is it. And when they know that's who they really are, and they still have that, she has a right, and they adopt her almost as a way of going, no, you adopt that little girl because she's still alive, and now it's you repressing her because you won't allow her to become fully. And we wouldn't ever oppress our own little girl self. So I think when we know that's what we are and we didn't change, and she still needs just the same love, but now it's your turn to give it to her. And you can't blame anyone else because you're an adult and there's no one else. And if you don't, then you keep her hidden from anyone else being able to, which leads us to relationships in your life and how that may have changed by you just knowing you.
It's changed completely. And more than anything else, I actually, after 43 years, found that one person, literally, after doing Creatrix. I did one thing, and literally within 5 days, it felt like I was that special edition toy that men or women literally want, just the very first one. I felt like that because I was so special all of a sudden, and I was open to being honest with anybody when it comes to a relationship. I was not going to hide. I was not going to pretend to be someone else. I was just going to be me. And within 5 days of doing that, of that shift occurring in my life, I was in a relationship. It's been a year now, and we're about to get married. And we knew it. The minute we saw each other, this is the one.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
We literally both go against everything we wanted in our partner. But we still know it's right. Because anything we didn't want is what we didn't want within ourselves, not within the partner. And once we sort that out, it is so easy to say, oh yeah, that's exactly what I need. That's just what I want. I'm not going to be doubting myself. I'm not going to be questioning myself. I just know it. I see the man and I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't need angels singing or bells ringing. It's that my intuition deep inside tells me, look into that person's eyes and look and really look and see if that makes sense. And when I did do that, it made sense to both of us. And that's it. It was that instant. It didn't need more than just me shooting away that block.
And I know, talking to you just after that, you just knew. And we've got Maria, who also the exact same thing happened to, and just incredible relationships too. How has that changed throughout your transformation? Because looking at that video there, you could tell it would have been a lot of relationships that were not supporting or easy for you.
Yeah. So I'm a mama's girl, or was a mama's girl, and now I'm my own girl. But yeah, my relationship with my mom has straightened out a lot.
That was a
Just
big
straightened out.
deal. That was a big deal. That was a really big thing for you.
Then levels that we go through,
Yeah.
that both of us, the levels that we go through. But the thing is, she started seeing a different me, which she's never seen before. And she's like, okay, that sounds interesting. You don't listen to me as much. I'm like, no, because you know what? Sometimes the stuff you say doesn't work for me. And she's like, I never said that before. I said, yeah, but I didn't know that before. Now I do. Now I don't want to do what you're telling me to do, or I don't want to, let's say, eat what you're telling me to eat. I will do what I feel like doing, and that's how it's going to be now because it is my life. And there's an acceptance on the other side. It's not, no, I'm gonna fight you again. It's like, all right, you do you. You do what you want to do. Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna step in the way. And suddenly I'm not gonna step in the way. It's so easy for her to say. Earlier it was not. It was like, no, you have to listen. And I'm like, okay, I listen. But now there's fighting there. There's no conflict. There's just listen, but this is what I'm going to do, whether you like it or not. I'm doing it. The end. And I walked out of the room. That's it. So all my relationships have become like that because everybody now knows that she knows what she wants to do. She's not going to take a 10% compromise or a 5% compromise in what she wants to do because she really knows what she wants to do. So unless what we say makes sense to her, she's not going to take it in. And if it does make sense, she's actually going to embrace it with 5 arms, not only 2. It's as simple as that. It's very clear. I think people have started understanding that about me now.
She's a very wise woman. What talk a little bit about your card reading and things like that for something a little bit different too, because I know so many women, they want to know, tell me more about me. Tell me my future. Give me some security about me and where I'm going and my safety and make me feel, hope and all of that. But I pick a card probably 3 times a day myself. And it's, I don't know, for me, it always feels, because they're very personal one, really hold for my chest physically. And I bet you, because all of the different types of people, I bet you, and I've been shocked to discover how many women do the exact same thing secretly as well as, because I know you have a very large following when you do this, and it's surprising how many. And I think that this world is full of that, but women won't allow the spiritual part of themselves or the play. It's the play and the dreaming as well. Well, what is it to you? What is that in you, by the way? I'm curious. If you help us.
For me, the spiritual path for me has always been the most obvious path. I guess because being born in this country, it's like in our DNA for our generation. Being an Indian it's very easy to be spiritual. Actually, you have to really fight to not be spiritual if you're Indian, is what I keep telling people. Because wherever we go, there's a temple, there's something, there's someone talking about that all the time. There are TV shows that are full of these things. So it's there, it's all the time. But what has happened is that as a country, we've been very influenced by the West. And because of that, it's fashionable to not have a spiritual background. And the only spiritual background we can have is, oh yeah, I meditate a little bit. I'm like, no, that doesn't work. And anything else on everyday basis is not. For example, we wake up in the morning and there's a temple in every house, a tiny little temple, a little shelf on which maybe there's a temple. And we go and we can do this every morning. It doesn't have to be like a big prayer and anything. But what has happened now is that the other side is telling everybody, the men, the women, everybody, especially the women who are so influenced, that, oh, it's better to be like short dresses and all of that. It's better to be surface than it is to go deeper. It's easier. Life becomes easier.
That's it there, isn't it? Don't ask the big questions. They're too hard. Let's stay on the surface.
Exactly. When they say that and women here listen and then they don't make the shift that they need to make, which is so very natural to them, I feel pain because I feel like telling them, don't go away from who you really are. And it's the most natural thing for you to be. That is what I've discovered. And for me, it's always been, like I said, the most natural thing. I don't pick out a card every day. I'm like, yeah, okay.
No. I only believe stuff when it's helping me and supporting what I'm. So for me personally, it's like they're just somewhere in my house. I walk past every single movement. They're in a central
Yeah.
spot. And for me, it's a bit of fun. But that's what I mean. I feel like a lot of women have a deck in their bedroom drawer or something.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about all the Western women and everybody that pretends they don't, is what I mean.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
is don't express all of those parts because they may not be accepted or they may not be understood or somebody else may have different. But Pushtie, know that you're an Indian woman and there's like a lot of what you've told me and in society there, and there are a lot of oppressed women and things really living life outside of them having almost an identity sometimes at all, let alone and seeking that self-identity. You are a global leader because an inspirer for rebelling against being told what to do when you're an adult woman. And I think women all over the world need that same message, that fight for your self-expression and then you get to self-express.
It is as easy as that, isn't it?
But it's with Creatrix, we know that. But it still that first decision of daring too, because you don't know it won't be as difficult as it is now to do, that it won't even be difficult at all to do because you're not in fear and you're not oppressed. Your spirit is free, so you just can say it and put your boundaries in. And it's not a big deal. And people, I think that because where they are at, they can't perceive it. That's the problem. But it's not like that, is it? Because the only step you ever have to take is the first one. And then if you come into awareness, next awareness, then the next step. If somebody was to have sessions with you now that you're a transformologist, a facilitator as well as having it, then, you know, that you get it yourself at your own pace. It's not scary.
It's not scary because it's just you, like I said, uncorking your true self. And you've always known that you've been that. And once you do a session, that part of you is suddenly available to you.
Yeah.
So it's, oh, yeah. Suddenly you feel like, oh, I already knew this. It's very easy to feel like, did I do a session for it? I already knew this. But that is so deeply put.
Knew it in your head.
So deep somewhere. Yeah, it was so deeply put inside somewhere that you couldn't have found it by yourself. You need something like this to just go, okay, can you see it now? It's like magic, Maz. It's okay, now you see it, now you don't. It's literally like that. It's amazing. And it's so quick. It's unbelievable. I remember my first session. I was not ready to believe it. It's been 2.5 years and I still can't remember it.
And it doesn't take your memories away. It stops the reason for you reliving them because memories are in the past. You have to completely construct and become every character in your mind to imagine something. And so people don't realize that memories are recreations, that they are the ones keeping alive by the mere exercise of doing it and what compulses them to do it. When the compulsion and need is no longer there because you've resolved it, not dissolved it, resolve the problem at the root, then why would you sit and just live in the past all day? Now, that's what frees you to live in the now because memories are of the past.
It's amazing how I have seen women come up to me and say, but what am I without my memories? What am I without all my experiences from the past?
Well, then
They get scared.
that they made you who you are now to get to this point, and you don't lose yourself. And this is interesting, isn't it? People don't realize you don't become someone else, darling. Guess what you become? Yourself. The one you've been searching for. That is all. You only become you. the one that you're searching for, and it will never be found out there. That's the problem. And that's, I think, we'll read books. We'll read hundreds and hundreds of them that tell us we're good. But when you come to realize it so deeply, it's just it removes from your psyche all that stuff that you would have brought into your life because you're just keeping it alive. And now you can have what you were born for, because you're not just an epigenetical family. You're not just your conditioning, you're experiencing. You're a soul expressing. You're an individual expression.
Yeah. But I think the work that we as transformologists need to do is simply to be able to explain this to them and help them step out of that fear. The very first step that they need to take, like you said,
I think so
just
too.
take that first step.
I agree.
And it's not difficult really. Like you keep mentioning to us that we've got to share our stories. Like the clip that you played for me, I was like, whoa, I don't recognize that anymore. So if I can actually use that clip to share with someone, I know that person is going to be, you're talking about me. I've been doing this all my life. So exactly what you say.
You get a copy of this and you can cut it up however you want to. And I think having just that before and then what you've said in one video for yourself will help you get your message to your target market, your women that you dreamed help, and that is your legacy to. We're going to save a lot of little girls. You imagine, why would you go through psychology and therapy and dredging up stuff when you can go and go into another little world for a moment and come out and you weren't even in that world, but suddenly you have changed and you don't know how it happened. And scared too, that stuff will come up about their dark side. And there's none of that, because the story is not relevant to gaining wisdom, is it? Like the inside, deep inside, just presents its lesson to the person, and that's all.
Yep.
And so that doesn't require the story, because inside deep, that bringing the wisdom knows the story more than you know the story. So it just brings you what you need to just learn, and it didn't hurt. You didn't even notice it. No, it's like walking in a door. Old self walking out the door, new self. Like there's nothing, and in between. Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day, and they said that it's so much fun. I'm like, I think that'd be even harder to understand if you tried to say to someone, "You can heal your trauma in a fun way." They'd be like, "What? That's stupid." But what we do, it is a bit of fun, isn't it? It's even a bit addictive. Oh, I can just go but get wiser today if I feel like it. Yes, it heals, but it's not a healing method. It is a will. Gaining self-life learning, self-realization, discovering, and you're the teacher and the student. You don't even know you know that stuff. It doesn't come from what you think you are. It just comes from what you really are already knows. Fascinating, really, too, that how does the self know when it, why wouldn't we know it otherwise? But it's just, we do know it consciously. It's the unconscious that knows us more and that runs the patterns for us.
Yep. It's just that we don't have another way to get in there, man. We don't have a way to get back into that place that we know. I don't think anybody has ever discovered that.
No, it isn't. That's exactly right. Because guess what? I had a real life wake up call, and then I saw the plight of women, and then I had to live in hell to have the need for a wake up call to be a natural one that just everyday people can sometimes have, that shocks you so much. You change in that moment because of the realization. So there are 16 conditions that have to be met for this to occur. And those 16 are in Creatrix, that are in a natural wake up call, but without needing a trauma trigger. Because it is a very wisdom gaining experience that happens. Like my personal one was really waking up from an epileptic fit. And I didn't have epilepsy. It was my first ever one. And I was really into living hiding. And I don't want to take that as English so quickly, that in that moment of faculties hadn't come back into my body. And it was the perfect healing storm moment, an empowerment moment, because I was going to take us further into hell when even it wasn't my cause, but I was deciding every next moment's decision. And by having just this big moment where not a filter was in my body, time didn't exist. I don't even know if it was 10 minutes, but I would imagine it was much less, because none of the kids come running out the car and said, what's wrong, or because I was on the floor of a phone box on the ground. They didn't notice anything. But I saw them in slow motion and there was no sound. And all these epiphanies were just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I have to change right now. But it did make a decision having that. And I think every human who has one naturally asks a question first that says, I'm ready, but I don't know how or what, but I can't do this anymore. And I had that before. Then I had the wake-up call. And then what happened was just having resilience and saying no. And just all of that came in, like this resilience and this grit. And I became larger than life, full change. And listening to my gut. And I think that people just have to know that it's not scary, it's not woo-woo, it's not anything. It's just simply, how about you close your eyes, and it's not to hypnotize you, it's to pause and then focus to solve problems that are somewhere else that aren't even yours. You're not even in the story, and it's very quick, and it's just what would have happened if you had a natural one. But guess what? You would have only got the learnings for that one session experience, and you would have had to suffer first to get like I did, and you don't. You can do it on purpose. Go and just wake up and
done. It's
over it. It's as quick as a real life wake-up call. It's not therapy. It's nothing else. And that's why, what else could we call ourselves? Well, are we guides? Are we coaches? No. Are we therapists? No. Are we playing psychology, pretending we know brains? No. No. Are we teachers? No. There was no thing. We're just transformologists. We'll walk you in, walk you out. You'll say, what just happened? You'll say the word bizarre. You're great. It's bizarre. You'll go silent for a minute going, how did that? Okay. You can sometimes expect, what are we going to say? We're miracle workers? Yes, we are that. But we don't do the work. Does them own their own self little school. It's a school of awakening for women on the planet.
Yep.
And it's the inner school. And it, isn't it? It's in everyone. We just don't know we're so freaking smart that even our unconscious knows. And they're going to sperm into a live human. I mean, we don't know we've got all of this wisdom that knows that even. Just with women in magnificence, really, and could stand in that power of what a tragedy, really, that for so many centuries, women think they're nothing when they are, what's the word I hear say? Empresses. Every woman is an empress.
She is. And you can't really work without them at all. So it's amazing how you needed to keep them in control so that you can be more than they are naturally. And it's amazing how it actually, like you said, takes a wake-up call for us women to realize that we are all that and it's okay to be all that.
I know.
And I love the fact that after doing a couple of sessions, I have seen my clients go from, I don't know what to do, to, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Whatever we need to do, I'm fine. Let's go and do it.
Can you tell me one or two stories about different clients' experiences? Because why did they come to you?
So one of my clients is a writer, and she came to me because she said, I don't feel very happy about having to read my script out to people. I'm like, but that's part of your work. If you write a script, you have to tell people about it. And she goes, yeah, but I'm not really happy. I want to do that. And plus, oh my God, I've had a breakup recently and it's been very taxing for me and I don't know what to do about it. I said, okay, we're doing all three for you. And she goes, yeah, all three, whatever you have to say. And she did the first one.
So I'll just explain to everyone. The first one is self-esteem and layering your self-esteem. The second one is emotional regulation and learning what you have to do from all those emotions. And then the third is healing the stress responses that are automatic, that don't have to be there, that have come from freeze moments and trauma in your past. So that's what Pushtie means.
So when we did the self-esteem reset with her, she went from, I like cooking and I like telling people what I've written, I'm okay with that, to becoming the one girl in the entire agency who reads out everyone's script to every producer possible. And she's, I love reading scripts. I love reading them out loud to everybody. They're amazing. And people look at me and say, oh my God, why haven't you been reading script class forever? We love your tonation. We love the way you express yourself. We love the way you actually bring out meaning in every single dialogue that's written. And now she's actually got an official title of script reader to client.
That's amazing.
And then after the second reset, she got into a space where she said, oh, I don't care about that guy anymore. It's his loss. I'm like, yeah, you got that.
And I bet she was broken-hearted before.
Oh my God, it was a mess. She was a puddle on the floor, literally. And suddenly she goes, no, I can't do this. She goes, he called me up the other day to speak to me about something. And I said, listen, I don't have the time. I'll speak to you later. When what I've always done is, hold on, give me a second. I'm just going to shut down this thing on my computer and speak to you then. And she said, I didn't do that. I said, listen, I don't have the time. I'm going to speak to you later. Whenever I get the time, I'll speak to you later. She's like, it didn't impact me. It didn't make a difference to my life. And I was done. I'm like, that's exactly what you need. Every single client that I've had has had such amazing stories. And in my head, I don't know
too many. I know. Yes. Wow. I know. Yeah. My clients are you ladies, all the facilitators and transformologists. And because you all get to go through all of the experiences, and I get to see not just where you start, but I get to be part of this. And the limitlessness is all I can call it, really, is the never having a glass ceiling. What? Oh, I understand there's always a next growth level and next level, next level as well. So what happens is, if you're watching, because sometimes you don't just arrive, what happens is you get the wisdom you need for the set of experiences and people all in your life. So if you do go and then change all of that, then sometimes something that would never happen in your entire life is something else to learn from, so that you can go beyond that and then beyond that. So in a way, you can live 10 lifetimes in one life. And that's what I love. You don't have to go on and have 10 lives. You can, to get your learnings, you can learn them right here, right now, babe, and get a lot more out of life and a lot more joy and happiness. You know what? Contentment in self is a beautiful thing. And what it does, this is what I want to say, and I think you would entirely agree with me, because if you emulate this easy, that you become beautiful. And I'm not physically, I'm not talking about shells here. I don't talk about shells. Yeah. You become beautiful to those around you, and they don't see your shell anymore. They start, oh, wow. And oh, and so you can see from more beautiful, and you become a better human. You become more compassionate, and you gain a pause, because once you came people where you were, and you can't sit idly by. And if anyone is like that, and you do, come and see me if you want to help others like Pushtie does, but also have what Pushtie had in a sense, and she's shattering glass ceilings all the time in her own self-expression. And you can look Pushtie up. Pushtie, what's your Facebook page? You got a Facebook page, don't you?
Yes, it's just Pushtie.
Yes.
It's Facebook.
Yes.
Yes. Pushtie.
Yes. And you can touch base with Pushtie, and I'm sure she could answer any questions you have. And is there any questions from anybody watching? So we've got someone else saying, Leanne Walker, Kathy Hume is on now. There's a Ritesh. And Carolina, wow, what a massive change. I think we rendered a few people speechless in a way because we're saying, I think that we are saying, hopefully we're hitting that little thing inside that little woman because we're not just here doing this for just the thrill, are we? We've got a mission and we want more for others. I feel like I speak on behalf of our great grandchildren. I have to say that because I have a great grandchild and I want to go beyond the generations that are alive now and think that little girl. So I now have to say the great grandchildren, the ones unborn yet, because the girls are going to grow and bring it through the bloodline girl. And we as women we are the lead herd. We can be a new breed. We can be role models of a better world. We will birth the boys and the girls. We can change the inner environment of where they are going to grow inside of for our grandchildren. And that will entirely turn history to a her story that is big, a transformation story, and change the world that way. And oh my gosh, this is a revolution, the Creatrix revolution, ladies, and be a part of that and join us because we are going to do it anyway. You can come and join us, or you can sit idly by and watch what's about to happen because we're not mucking around, are we, Pushtie? And there's a ton of us. We've trained women in 24 countries. We got everyone from doctors, psychologists, right through to actresses and everyday mums who just wanted to activate the maternal resources within themselves. Yeah, because that's all this need is the maternal resources. But if you had kids or not, makes no difference. We have resources of deep caring, and the rewards we get from helping another is soul fulfilling. And when we change like that, we give others permission to change, and we will be the light. We will shine our light bright until it's okay for everyone, because it's poor poppy syndrome is pretty bloody bad out there too. Who do you think you are? I don't know, somebody who can change your grandchildren and give them a better future is who we think we are. Well, you don't want them to suffer whether you've thought about it or not. Right? It's
Absolutely.
we don't know what we're responsible for when we live in denial. We're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if with the powers here now, you got no more excuses. That's the truth of it. So but you got to want it. We don't want anyone to do it if they don't want it, because we want to help. There's enough people out there that do want it, and will come into realization when they just have to trust this bullshit about fancy thing to be true. What? So did it once when airplanes flew through the sky, when they're going along in a cart, and someone said one day there'll be hundreds or thousands of tons of metal flying in a one big lump up there, and there'll be people sipping cups of teas and they won't spill a drop. I'm sure that was a stupid thought. So stupid you would have been just pushed off the cart and left because you're just a lunatic or a nut job. But I tell you what, one day they'll say, oh, yes, I was around when that did come about, because it's not revolutionary. It's not rocket science, is it? It's just a natural wake-up call we can use that it goes deep enough for us girls that we can just heal and move on. We've got somebody on watching us who used to watch you on TV.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
Oh, it wasn't fair.
So that's how famous you are, and that you're a role model for many, not just me.
I
have been and didn't probably realize it.
I have not taken that on very seriously until now, until I realized what an impact I can make. Earlier, it was just, okay, I'm having fun. But now I understand. I understand the impact that I create, because I've realized it after I've shifted things inside me. Sense value has grown to another level, and that shows me that I can make an impact.
And I think I think every woman, they don't know they're already making an impact. They just can have more control over its effect, their effect. We have an effect. We have a ripple effect, And we have a ripple. And so can every woman. We can vamp up and ramp up their power to make the impact be more what they want it to be, not what it's just destined to be. You're a beautiful role.
And
Yes, go.
I was just saying, Mez, that your dream of setting a million hearts free, 10 million hearts,
10 million.
I don't know, a zillion hearts free. It just keeps like multiplying in my head because, frankly speaking, I don't know one transformologist who has been able to say, "Yeah, we'll try." All of us, because of the impact you've had on our lives and have trained us the way we have been trained, we all have this jump inside us which says, yes, of course we can do it. We can do more. It doesn't matter. And it's right. We need to do this. And trust me, Mel, had it not been for you, I don't think a lot of us would have been on this path to thinking we can actually do it because we wouldn't have seen it in ourselves. I think your training, the training that you give us, is the only one that tells us nothing doing. It's not like I've trained you and you're gone and you're on your own. You
Yeah.
are the only modality that says, hold on, come back. Once or twice a month, you get to deal with everything that's going on with you. You are not special just because you've trained for 5 days. It's the only modality that kicks me in the butt saying, hello, how come you think you're done? You're not. You're an onion and you're getting peeled gradually. It may take time, but it's happening. And I love the fact that we have a community and that we have you because you're the whole. You miss nothing. And
People underestimate me all the time because I'm a bit me ADD type thing. They don't know I'm seeing a lot more and I know a lot more. But I think you got to care and it's where it comes from. And that's what I love unlayering in women, who they really are. And that if you just come from that place, you can never get it wrong. You don't have to learn how to do a lot of things that you think you have to learn. You just have to be that. And you have to be your true self unapologetically. And people will pick on you. They will cut you down. They will when you shine. And that's their problem. And that's their limitation of judging and all the things they need to heal. What they don't know is the biggest thing that is not okay to know, really. And that is what you most hate about others is the thing you most deny in yourself. And women come to learn it one day too. So even those who judge me, they have a lot to learn because they are rejecting that part of themselves or denying something that could help them. It's just me. I'm putting myself on a pedestal. It's everybody. And if somebody is trying to do good, if you should always ask what's their intention before you character assassinate. And there's a lot of character assassination happens with me because we charge money for what we do. And oh my gosh, it should be free. And then you should care more. Actually, I care enough to charge you enough of what it takes for you to say yes to yourself and get
or to
through.
value it in general.
If you don't value if you expect it for free, go and work on entitlement. Because nothing's free on this planet and no one owes you anything. And that's another thing that you'll have to learn the hard way and all of those things that every one of us had to decide first that we were worth something and not putting everything else first. Because everybody has a right that they just put things on top that are more important. And this should be the bottom, but should be our most important to give it for free. And we should have no values and honor theirs. So it's not true. It's not good leadership to do that. It's not good for others. It doesn't make people strong or in this entitled world. It's all about, isn't it? And we want to say to you, no, it's about when you, especially if you're a leader, if you care about others, you get to even think about business or money as a woman. You go and care, but through self-respect models, that self-respect. And actually covering your own stuff because then they thank you later away. Even the ones like might have, you have a fee, you have a fee. If you don't have a fee, ladies, then you're going to resent the work you do.
Doing what you're doing.
If you had to pay to learn your stuff, they should respect you and what your knowledge. It doesn't even matter what industry, but in the emotional industry, it can be used against us a bit. That's the one thing we should never pay for a woman, because you should feel her pain. We feel your pain, all right, baby, but we see you on the other side. We're not going to hang around
Well,
there.
not a lot of us can. Not a
No,
lot of us can see the woman on the other side, but unless they're trained, they cannot see the woman on the other side.
because they
Yeah.
have to be able to understand and mature from pure empathy to seeing a woman on the other side when she's in pain is what she wants. She needs someone one day to do that for her, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And because we can't bring them through to what we can't envision. We envision women on the other side, and we can see her when she's in her worst. We don't see that. We feel it, don't we? I've just got to help this woman, but we see, and we just see this freedom that we know we can get into it.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we're not here to sell it, but it's hard to not explain it to people because we know the misconceptions and how unrealistic it looks and all the things you think. We know all of that. We know it's tough coming into understanding innovation can come into this industry, but it has, and it's there for you if you wanted it. And I would love to thank you, Pushtie, for just having this conversation between the two of us and anyone else, all of the Transformative, all of the facilitators, and we can change the world, even through the clients, because they always send us people because they're seeing so change. We will all change the world together. And if anybody's watching who maybe it's not for you, so maybe you know people who you could refer or that need help, or that could help us get this to the world. Even maybe you know anyone that may help us with maybe in any way. I know I myself am looking for maybe angel investors to take it to do research and things where that we credit with them of high influence and introduce us, and we can show it to them and they might help us get it to the world quicker than we can. So come and see us though. For me, it's on this page, Uninstituted Women on Facebook, or you can go personally, Maz at uninstituteofwomen.com. And if you're interested in the facilitation of Transformative program, if you're interested in just personal, I need breakthroughs, then look up Pushtie and should be with that. Absolutely. All right. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining in.